What we have long been forecasting for, unfortunately verified across southern Wisconsin, a host of severe weather events, and some of them on the higher end. I have the latest forecast for Friday, and does it include a chance for more storms?
And I'm in the city of Mayville, the small city decimated by that tornado damage, and we'll show you some of how those families are dealing with those.
I'm in Maddie Heimschen. I'm in Juneau, where families have been displaced from their homes.
These stories and more all ahead on News Street now at 10. Good evening. We thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. We begin after alert day conditions moved through southern Wisconsin tonight.
There have been reports of funnel clouds and widespread damage. We have crews both here in Madison, also to our north, providing the latest updates on current conditions. Before we get to our crews, the Dodge County Sheriff held a press conference earlier this evening detailing tonight's storm damage.
And here's what we know so far. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says that severe damage has been sustained across their area, mainly in Juneau and Mayville. Residents who've been displaced have shelter available at Dodgeland schools in Juneau, as well as the TAG Center for Displaced Residents in Mayville.
I want to say thank you to the citizens that reported things, but we all know that the citizens that report them have to call somewhere, right? Our dispatchers. And our dispatchers did an absolutely phenomenal job handling the overload of phone calls that we received in our dispatch center.
Deputies say that a person was trapped under their roof, was taken to the hospital, but their injuries luckily are not life-threatening. Several residents continue to be out of power, and officials ask people to avoid Juneau and Mayville right now to avoid interfering with cleanup operations. Now, these storms have moved out of southern Wisconsin.
Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington for the latest. And Alex, anything to expect overnight? Hopefully not.
Hopefully not is the answer to that is no. We have nothing else in the forecast for tonight for severe weather. That's certainly good news. We had mentioned that it would be a quick, narrow, and intense line of thunderstorms, and unfortunately that verified. As we take a look at our storm reports, all these blue dots that you see are large hail reports. Now, we've had damaging wind reports, and then of course meteorologist Blaze Keller and I were tracking that storm up through Juneau, up through Horicon, and in the Mayfield area with some impressive radar signatures, debris balls, things that you see out in the Great Plains here in southern Wisconsin to indicate the very likelihood that there may have been a tornado in Juneau up towards the Mayville area. But of course, the National Weather Service will verify that. Right now, radar 3000 showing all of the shower and thunderstorm activity is well out over Lake Michigan. We have nothing behind here. This is ground clutter, which is just moisture pooling near the ground. Radar 3000, though, that wasn't quite the case throughout the daytime today. As we just take a peek and go back here over the course of the past 12 hours. We'll just take a step back out here and then look at how things had progressed as we moved through the morning into the afternoon. What our concern was as we got towards that 3 o'clock time frame is that thunderstorms would rapidly form in the area, and that's what ended up occurring right across the heart of the WISC viewing areas. Our weather models did exceptionally well at forecasting that initiation over southwest Wisconsin, and as we continue through the rest of the overnight, it will be quiet but breezy. We do have some more storm chances on Friday coming up in Maine weather. I'll let you know if we can expect any severe weather from those storms.
All right, great job. Thank you, Alex. And as we mentioned earlier, there's been extensive damage reported in Dodge County.
Armand Rahman live in Mayville with a view of that damage at this hour. Armand?
That's right, Eric and Sarah. Right now, I'm on South Main Street in Mayville, where a lot of the damage, probably one of the hardest hit areas, is right here. It's very dark, obviously, because power is out. You cannot see much. We have moved across the street because neighbors that have been inside the houses right now without power asked us not to shine our lights on them as they're dealing with this right now, which of course we wanted to respect. And really, disaster really knows no safety. I talked to a family who, take a look at their house, how it looks like right now. A tree in their front yard completely down in front of their house, completely taken out the porch and much of the front door. And they just moved here in October. The mother, Angie Fiore, tells me her family sheltered in the basement and could see branches falling during the storm from there, but had no idea the extent of the damage until they came out when the tornado passed.
I could feel the pressure drop. My ears popped. I kind of like it sucked the air out of the room. I honestly was in shock. I kind of really just didn't even know what to do. My son graduates on Sunday, and so we were going to have just kind of a family get together here, but we just move forward, move forward. I mean, what can you do?
And meanwhile, I've seen a trailer here turned over and completely tossed down the street like it weighs nothing. And half of a barn on the outskirts of Mayville crumpled and spread across the landscape. But I'm told there that no humans or farm animals were injured. Now, one thing for sure, this is a small town of a little more than 5,000 people, but neighbors have come out here immediately after the storm hit with chainsaws, helping to chop some of these trees that are blocking and displacing their fellow residents. Chop them down and removing the damage across the street as crews continue to clear them tonight. They're asking people to stay inside, and an important note that the shelter location has changed from the TAG Center to the Mayville High School. So anyone who is displaced should go there for more information or resources. For now, reporting in the city of Mayville, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Always see those small town folks helping one another. Good to see there. Arman, thank you. Meanwhile, houses and trees have been torn down also in the city of Juneau.
And that's where we find our reporter, Maddie Heimsch. Maddie?
You guys mentioned a bulk of that damage was in Mayville and Juneau. And while Armand spent the night in Mayville, I was here in Juneau walking around with residents taking a look at that damage. And while some spots in our area got a lot of wind, some got rain, some got hail, Juneau really got all of it.
And it just hit like a rocket. I mean, it almost pulled me out the front door.
That rocket, wind, rain, hail, and likely a tornado that tore through Chris Rudiker and Roz Walters' homes in Juneau.
We had a little garden shack out back, and that is gone.
I've got a big maple up in back that it completely uprooted.
Our plants, flowers, kids' bikes, shingles off the roof.
We've got a play set that's tipped over in the back.
Roz and Chris's families avoided injuries.
We got to round up the kids and hit the basement, so we grabbed blankets, snacks, water, and we went downstairs.
Everybody is safe.
But their homes didn't avoid damages.
The kitchen dining room is all flooded.
Like the other Dodge County residents who saw that same storm damage, they say it'll take time to recover.
Between family, we'll find somewhere to stay.
We'll probably just be making calls, insurance claims, and go from there.
Now, Chris there tells me his daughter's 8th birthday party is scheduled for Saturday at their house, but he thinks that with a bring your own yard gloves policy and a little bit of cleanup, the party will go on. Reporting live in Juneau, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
It's nice to see they can still put a smile on their faces. Thank you so much, Maddie. Well, reports of large hail has been pouring in from across the viewing area. Greg Sinchi in Sun Prairie snapped this photo of hail piling up on his patio. And over in Middleton, one viewer sent us an image of a large ball of hail in their hand.
And a viewer in Spring Green sending us video of hail pouring down onto their patio. That was earlier this afternoon. A lot of hail there on the patio furniture. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on our First Warn Weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. Simply download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
Milwaukee's City Hall and Zeidler Municipal Building were on lockdown tonight after reports of shots fired. Authorities now believe it was a possible false alarm. The city's mayor says an investigation has not uncovered any evidence of shots fired. Milwaukee police say there is a person of interest that they'd like to talk to, and the incident is still under investigation. Back in Madison at the Capitol today, lawmakers approved a slate of crime bills in the state Senate. That includes a proposal that would prohibit anyone convicted of a violent crime from changing their name. We're also closely watching whether Wisconsinites could see money back in their pockets through a tax cut in the next state budget. Republican lawmakers would have to reach an agreement with the state's Democratic governor.
It's imperative that we meet by the end of next week at the latest to stay on schedule to pass a budget by the end of the fiscal year. It's as simple as that. Time's ticking.
If lawmakers and the governor cannot come to an agreement, that could push back the state budget process past the June 30th deadline. But Wisconsin would not go into shutdown if that happens, so lawmakers could take their time.
A Milwaukee County judge appeared in court today on charges that she helped a man evade arrest by immigration agents, spawning protests across the state, including right here in Madison. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested by the FBI last month and then indicted on federal charges earlier this week. Protesters here in Madison said this was part of a chilling effect from the Trump administration.
We will not stand idly by while he terrorizes immigrant workers and their families, and we will not stand idly by while he tries to destroy our constitutional rights.
Now, Judge Dugan pleaded not guilty to those charges. She is expected back in court in late July.
A Cajun restaurant on Madison's east side is closing its doors for good.
Rue Bourret is owned and operated by an expecting mom, and now she's closing this chapter after dealing with some pregnancy complications. Our Tanisha Shaw has more.
The only thing that we have left food-wise has been called Dibs On. It is our no shrimp egg rolls. They're from my best.
Rue Bourret is a labor of love for Rebecca Ulrich.
These are what the egg rolls are, what they look like frozen. The inside is 3 different types of cheeses.
For the last 2 years, Ulrich ran the Cajun restaurant here in Madison all by herself.
There's a lot of people that are like, you do what now? You have no people? And I'm like, I have no people. It's just me. They're like, how?
Customers eventually became family.
Kids would come in here with their moms and dads on Saturday mornings. It'd be like a little mini party, like donuts on Saturday mornings for the kids kind of situation, like I used to do with my kid.
It's her way of bringing her Louisiana roots to Madison.
Very family-oriented, very community-centered.
Now, she's opening a new chapter by closing down the restaurant.
It kind of sucks, not gonna lie, because I put so much work and effort into it, but I would much rather the health and safety of this baby than the health and safety of this baby.
Ulrich is 29 weeks pregnant and recently learned that her pregnancy is high risk.
So baby's fine, she's 100% fine, she's healthy, she's growing perfectly normal, but it's not doing good to my personal body. So it's, body's not doing great.
After announcing she's gonna close the doors for good, hundreds of people sent love to Ulrich and helped buy the last of the food and supplies at Rue Bourret.
I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm relieved, it's all of the feels, all of the emotions, all of the emotions doesn't begin to describe all of the emotions that I had.
Right now, Ulrich is unsure when or if she will reopen her restaurant here in Madison. She really wants to prioritize that time with her family. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. There are still a few dishes and items that people can buy from the restaurant, but Ulrich said that most of her supplies were sold over 2 days.
So to come at 10, a new document signals a bad start to hurricane season here in the U.S.
And the struggles continue to achieve peace in Ukraine. Why President Trump said Russia's president was a no-show for negotiations.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Russian President Vladimir Putin was a no-show at peace talks today in Turkey.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accuses Moscow of blowing off negotiations by sending a dummy delegation. Putin's absence dealt a blow to hopes for a breakthrough despite renewed pressure from key European leaders and the Trump administration. President Trump says he's not surprised Putin didn't show.
He wasn't going if I wasn't there, and I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together, but we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
Last weekend, Ukraine and its allies had pushed for a full, unconditional 30-day ceasefire. Russia offered direct talks with Ukraine, but no promise to pause the fighting.
The EPA says it's rolling back limits on some of the so-called forever chemicals in our drinking water. They've been found in more than 2,700 water systems across the country, affecting some 158 million Americans. Now, the Biden administration established limits on those chemicals, which have been linked to serious illnesses, including heart disease and cancer.
And it's not just in our drinking water, by the way. It's also in the soil. They found it in rainwater. And it's estimated that some 30,000 industrial polluters are putting out PFAS chemicals into the environment in this country.
Now, the EPA says limits will stay in place for the 2 most common chemical types, but it is rolling back the rules on the others to give water systems more flexibility.
With the start of the hurricane season approaching, FEMA officials say they are not prepared. An internal agency review says the agency is struggling to coordinate with states and new red tape that it says will slow emergency responses. FEMA lost about 30% of its full-time staff since the Trump administration due to layoffs and employee buyouts. Was reported across southern Wisconsin this evening. Check it out. Amanda Hubbard in Oregon took video of the aftermath of today's storms. Her front yard peppered with golf ball-sized hail. You can see she reaches down and picks up a handful, too.
And in downtown Madison, a viewer can be seen holding a melting piece of hail here, while residents in Fitchburg and Monona also reported hail with sizes reaching up to the size of a golf ball, as shown in the picture here on your right. Those alert day conditions, though, have passed on through southern Wisconsin.
Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us with the latest.
Yes, it was a quick line of thunderstorms, a narrow line of intense thunderstorms that the First Warn Weather Team a week ago we started talking about and leading up to this forecasted, and unfortunately it verified. But I have good news now. Quiet through the rest of the night, breezy. Although as we go into Friday, a couple more storms are going to be in the forecast. We're going to track those together in just a moment. And cool and dry for the upcoming weekend as part of the 3 things you need to know. Unfortunately, again, that line of thunderstorms verified today with a lot of large hail reports, which we've been showing throughout this newscast. We'll be getting confirmation from the National Weather Service in Milwaukee in the coming days, in Juneau, up to Horicon, up to the Mayville area, as to whether or not a tornado or several tornadoes touch down in those localities this evening. Nothing out there in radar 3000 right now. What you see all that green, that's called ground clutter around the radar in the Sullivan area. But today did pan out. Let me just take us and step us through very slowly through today. Our scenario that we were concerned about would be thunderstorms popping up in southwest Wisconsin. And as we march radar 3000 to about 2-3 o'clock, myself, Savannah, Blaze, we were all here watching every radar frame, watching the visible satellite that shows the clouds and our sky cams. And our sky cams started showing showers and thunderstorms popping up. Our sky cam at Upland Hills in Dodgeville showed that supercell thunderstorm in Iowa County really taking off. And then as it moved to the north up towards the Lone Rock area, it really intensified and blossomed, then moving further into Sauk County with other supercell thunderstorms developing south of Dane County, south of the Belleville area, and then rapidly moving towards the north and towards the east. We had tornado warnings for the Portage area, and then slowly moving this storm through Dodge County. That was the strongest of all of those storms, again producing that potential family of tornadoes before the line finally formed into a single line with damaging winds that then moved out over Lake Michigan. Just want to take everybody back through that event and how it all panned out. Unfortunately, we have another risk of severe weather as we go into Friday. Although it's a marginal risk from Madison and areas to the east. What does that mean? It means an isolated severe storm or two can't be ruled out, but we're not looking at widespread severe weather. Gusty winds and hail would be the main threats. I'll be here at noon and at 4 tomorrow, and then Blaze will take over in the evening. I'm not expecting widespread severe weather, although as we head towards 3-4 o'clock, notice a couple of thunderstorms trying to pop up from the Dells over towards Lone Rock. They're few and far between. They move off to the east pretty quickly, and then they're out of the area as we get into the evening, followed by breezy conditions through the rest of the day. Upper 50s to lower 60s for low temperatures tonight as we go on into Friday. High temperatures in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees as that last cold front comes through the area. Set into Mai, you're probably wondering what's up with the forecast for Friday. A chance of that thunderstorm in the evening, breezy and cooler as we head into the weekend, and heads up as we go out to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That looks like a soaking rain, so gardeners and farmers, we didn't get a lot of rain with today's storms because they moved through very quickly, but that looks like a good soaking rain for the area, which we will likely deserve.
Something to look forward to, and maybe you can get some rest in the
A little R&R would be great.
Yeah, you need a little break. Meanwhile, we haven't seen you on Channel 3. Where you been?
Yeah, I've been sleeping back there.
Just waiting for the weather to pass.
Yeah,
Take us to some serenity, maybe like a golf course.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. How about this? Coming up in sports, we're going back on the links where Steve Stricker sits in his first action in nearly 5 months. That's next on News 3 Now. The Packers' schedule is no cupcake. Matt LaFleur will face 7 teams that made the playoffs a season ago, with 2 of them in his own division, a place that wasn't too kind to the green and gold last year. Green Bay won just 1 game in the NFC North, and this year their schedule is backloaded with 5 of their final 7 against division opponents, already making December and January pretty meaningful.
The fact that they start with a division game and then don't play again in the division until they play the Vikings on November 23rd in Green Bay, that's very unusual. And the fact that they play, the Bears, twice in a 3-week span, that's different. So I am super curious to see how that bottom stretch of the schedule plays out.
Year 3 in Madison for Layla Edwards was her best season as a Badger. She led the country in goals with 35 and finished with 71 points, good enough for third best in the nation. Edwards also won a national championship and a gold medal at the Women's World Championships. Up next, not a lot of rest because the Badger forward has something big she's planning on accomplishing next season.
Take a week or two off the ice, stay in the weight room a little bit, and then just get back to it because, we want to win the national championship again next year, but definitely want to make that Olympic team, and that's not going to happen if I'm just sitting around. So I want to be smart and take time off, but then get back to work because I've got a goal to achieve.
To the links we go. Steve Stricker playing in his first tournament since January, and he had the putter working on the back nine. First, he'd birdie hole 10 and then follow it up with another chirper on 11. Strick is 4 under, tied for 10th, and his friend Jerry Kelly was even better. He carded 8 birdies, including this long one on 17. Kelly is 7 under, 2 shots back after the first round of the region's tradition. And Whitewater softball started their regionals with a statement. The Warhawks no-hit Penn College to advance in the winner's bracket. Whitewater will face Case Western Reserve University tomorrow morning. Let's kick it. Sugar River hosting McFarland in girls soccer. After a scoreless first half, the Raiders struck first. Anya Brankman goes corner pocket with the left foot for her 31st goal of the year. That gives Sugar River a 1-0 lead. But McFarland would answer. Weya Zhao sends a strike into the back of the net for the equalizer, and that's how this one would finish in a 1-1 tie. We're back after this.
Busy day in weather, but it's slowed down.
It has slowed down. All those storms out over Lake Michigan. We can all sleep a little bit better tonight, although there are areas that are reeling with damage. You can be rest assured it'll be quiet for the rest of the night tonight. A bit on the breezy side. Do have another chance of a couple of thunderstorms on Friday and dry as we head out towards the weekend as part of the 3 things you need to know as we round out this evening's newscast. There is a marginal risk of severe weather from Madison areas east. What this means is that an isolated severe storm can't be ruled out as we go into Friday afternoon. Hail and gusty winds would be the main threat, and then we turn our attention to a wet Tuesday and Wednesday next week. No severe weather next week.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a good night.